Crossing Lines live on a Wednesday afternoon. It is Hump Day, people, and what a show that we have for you. It's your boy Donnie Rightside here at Donnie Rightside. That's Joe Lisi at Go for the Two, and this is Crossing Lines at Crossing Lines X in the middle. You got Crossing X Lines. Pretty simple here. Growing this every single day, having fun, Joe. I think we have a pretty good week going on right now. Monday and Tuesday, absolutely fireballs. Wednesday in the Northeast. We're starting to get 100-plus degrees here. Time to heat up, Joe. Time to heat up, man.
Time to heat up and break out the Goldilocks balls. We got day baseball. Nothing better. We got the matchup in New York. We have New York and Detroit squaring off. We have the Nationals in Boston. We have U.S. and Bosnia World Cup action. Great guests on tap, Donnie. This is what it's all about heading into the holiday weekend.
It absolutely is. By the way, shout out to chat box. Francisco Carrasco's out there. Coach SD, Shone 23. And also Darren Phillips. Hey, DRS, love the new show. Absolutely. The coach is out here. Jack Falk and so much more. I can't ask it enough here. Like, subscribe every single day. All across our social media platforms, which includes YouTube and also X. We're growing by the day. The goal is to get into that monster swell where everybody sees the tsunami coming from a mile away at this point. But, Joe, you know what I want to start here today? You know what I want to start here today?
Let's hear it.
Like, usually it's new week, new money. Now it's new month, new money. But catch it. Like, people, just listen to this right here. Listen.
Wide open.
Oh, it's football season, Joe. Listen to this, man. Listen to this. Barkley.
To the clear.
Woo!
The snow all the way home. He's headed to
I love it.
I mean, come on. There's more. Anything you want. It seems like Saquon's already running wild, Joe.
Oh, baby, this is what it's all about. We are efficient.
Oh, my God.
What is it? 69 days from the start of the NFL season. We're less than 60 days away from college football. I was going to send you a link. I was watching on X the 2000 Miami-Florida State game. Miami had a 17-0 lead. Then Winky took the lead late in the fourth quarter, and your boy Ken Dorsey pulled. Shockey got the touchdown, and then they missed the field goal. Nothing better than college football, instant classics, and maybe we'll have an instant classic in the World Cup game between U.S. and Bosnia a little bit later.
Bosnia-Herzegovina. And by the way, big-time action yesterday, Joe, even in the World Cup. Holland comes through for Norway, Jeff. How about that? Little action. 86th minute, 2-1 over Ivory Coast. That was an absolute shocker there. Not that Norway won, but how close these games have been. We talked about Flash yesterday, and he's all over France as well. 3-0 yesterday over Sweden. Mbappe, absolutely filthy dominant in this tournament. And then at night, I wanted to watch this, Joe, and I stayed up for the first half. Why? Because we have a rain delay / lightning delay, pushing that from 9 o'clock to 10 o'clock. The atmosphere down in Azteca Stadium, absolutely ridiculous. Electric. And so much fun to watch. It was great.
Yeah, that's what you want to see. It's almost like a college football. We equate it to a college football type of environment. We know the NFL plays in multiple cities. They did play last year in Azteca, didn't they? Kansas City played there on their stadium.
They usually hit it every once in a while at that point. You got the high elevation. But also, Joe, you know what I heard about that too? Is that Mexico hadn't lost like a competitive game in that building in 14 years.
That's crazy.
Talk about home field advantage.
Yeah, you think about like Ohio State. You think about Alabama. Yeah. Just great home field environments, and that's what it's all about. The fact that they picked up the victory, you saw the fan base, you saw the electricity, and just the energy in that stadium. That's what it's all about, and hopefully it continues. We know that we've had a great, tournament up until this point. We know that Flash mentioned it. Well, there's expansion. We get that, but you still want to see close games, and you see the margin from top to bottom starting to close in with these elimination penalty kicks coming right down to the wire. We'll see what today brings, but this is what it's all about, Donnie.
By the way, I thought games were a little bit late. We have an England start versus Congo live right now? Is that true?
Yeah, it's an early. I think it's
Why did I think it was a 1 o'clock start at this point?
That I can't tell you. I'm not the guru when it comes to the World Cup.
I'm on ESPN right now. It says 5 minutes in, so anybody in the chat box want to just correct me if I'm wrong. But we got live action England and the Congo right now. Harry Kane and the Tree Lions out there.
Well, now we brought it up to Flash. He doesn't think England's a contender. They're 7-1. You talk about Kane potentially to win the Golden Boot. He's an 18-1 shot across multiple books, Donnie. And I brought up Vinny, right? Vinny Jr. from the neighborhood for Brazil. If they get through the round, could he potentially carry it?
They are going.
But think about what Flash said yesterday. He said that potentially 9 goals will get you the golden boot. Messi has 6, right?
Yeah.
We're heading into this matchup, so can he get 3 more? Absolutely, but 18-1 is a bad value on Kane right now.
Yeah, we got Danny Alexander coming on a little bit later to talk some soccer with us here. England, Congo direct right now, 6 minutes in, no score. 4 p.m. Eastern today, Joe. Belgium taking on Senegal. And then tonight, 8 o'clock, the United States of America taking on Bosnia, Herzegovina. Heavy favorite for the U.S. squad here. Keep moving along. And as you see, like when you said the brackets, like it's a tough bracket for the U.S. But if you would have told me, Joe, before we got underway in World Cup action, that number 1, the U.S. would win their group, and number 2, would move on in the knockout stage, sounds like a win. Now, granted, it is a little bit watered down World Cup. You're not playing the great teams that you typically would play once you get out of group stage, but you'll take it any way they can get it, Joe. Building, just like this show, Joe, building momentum.
Absolutely. It's building momentum and building a foundation. The U.S. has had teams that they thought could potentially go deep into the round of 32 and beyond, and they never got there. They're right here. And they have to take care of business. But at the end of the day, to win your division and to win your round, that's huge for the U.S. right now. They are building momentum. Again, I said there's a lot of pressure, but you equate it to the U.S. hockey team, first win of a gold medal since 1980. There's a lot of pressure on this team, but again, expect them to answer the bell. And Flash brought it up yesterday. First 20 minutes are going to be critical. Can Bosnia handle the heat right now?
That's true. By the way, yesterday, handling the heat for me, Joe, picked up another winning night in Major League Baseball. Beggars can't be choosers. Like, I'll take wins any way that I can get them. I told you the Marlins game, right? Sometimes a little bit tough in Colorado.
Great call.
Marlins were goosing yesterday. Over 5.5, really easy. Do you know which one hurt me? Because I split my RBI props and I got the bigger RBI plus money number. And by the way, 2 home runs yesterday from Dansby Swanson. I just needed 1 RBI, got it right away. But, Joe, the ones that hurt, though, I had over 4.5 with the Twins as a team total, plus money number. Joe, 3 in the top of the first inning. I'm like, yeah, we got this. They had 4 by the time you hit the 5th inning, and they ended at 4. Like, I understand I won, and you're going to get some of those wins, but that should have been an even bigger night last night, and sometimes you got to take those beats and be like, sucks.
Donnie, I was with you. I took them on an alt line of 10.5. I needed that to complete a parlay. You have 6-3. You have 6. What happened? We got breaking news? Breaking news?
Congo, Joe. You ever been in a Congo line? I guess it's a Congo line. We're going to call it the Congo line. 1-0. Sapanga at the 7-minute mark. Go.
Unbelievable. Look at that.
How about that?
You want to talk about pressure? We got to have Flash on later in the week if they lose this game. Wow.
My goodness.
They're 7-1 to win it all. And now trail.
I mean, the hooligans out already, Joe, smashing things over here in England.
I'll tell you what. Now, what do you do? You know, typically when you have a lead like this, if it was football, baseball, or hockey, I go extend, right? Now with this lead, pull back the reins, baby. Play defense, right?
By the way, can we get a break? Can we just get the breaking news moniker across the screen here? Just because I feel like this is monstrous. There it is. Look at that, Joe. Breaking news again.
I love it.
Whoa, the crowd goes wild. The Congo. By the way, where is the Congo exactly, Joe?
Now you're killing me with this. Do you
like that? Are they officially known as the Congo line? You know what I mean? For Congo?
No, it's Congo DR up on ESPN right now. But England right now comes out flat.
Panic in the streets, Joe. Panic in the streets right now. Hooligans out here. Maybe some Pet Shop Boys, West End girls to calm them down. You never know.
I'll say this. Now, Brazil fell behind 1-0 to Japan and then poured it on in the last 40 minutes of that game. They won 2-1. Can England now, do they feel the pressure? Are they going to be a little complacent? Are they going to attack? I'm curious. If I'm Congo and I'm betting Congo right now, you're playing dump. You're just playing dump and play defense. Isn't that what you're doing?
Are we parking the bus already? I got a text flash while we're live here. Are we going to park the bus on this game? Is it over for England? The tree line is Rashford's out there. You got Harry Kane. You know, does Stork still play for that team? Remember the big dude, like 6'9"? Stork, I think his name was.
Let me see.
Like that. Remember that?
His name is Stork?
He used to do like a robot dance because he looked like a big like flamingo out in the streets.
His name is Stork?
Yeah, maybe Flash would know Stork.
No.
Nah, you're not coming up with anything. I think that's what his name was.
How about this guy, Nico O'Reilly? He's a defenseman. He needs to step up, Nico.
O'Reilly? Who's he play for Ireland?
England.
Goodness.
Nico O'Reilly.
Goodness.
All right.
I'm loving this, though. Look at that. Live on the air, though, Joe. Usually we're talking like maybe a little Major League Baseball action or what it might be, but come on now. Congo. Now the pressure comes on England. All forwards go, Jeff. You got to press it upfield at this. And by the way, I was watching games again yesterday. And look, Joe and I don't claim that like we're the end-all be-all
we're not
soccer.
Gurus. I'm not a soccer
But since the World Cup's here, I know just about as much as everybody else, right? But offsides, man, we got to change it up a little bit, don't we? I can't figure it out.
How could you be offsides with
I can't figure it out.
It's not, I mean, come on. I mean, really, with the offsides, isn't it more of a judgment call? Isn't it? Well, there's no lines.
Like when the ball's kicked, when it's not kicked, is your hand over? Like I saw a goal yesterday. I think it was the Mexican goal. I swear the guy was offsides by 40 yards. I'm like, nah, he's cool. He's fine. Like, I don't get it at all. Yeah.
Well, again, I'm not claiming to know all of the technical aspects of the game, but again, when you talk about offside, you equate it to hockey, and that's why they got rid of, what was it, the blue line? They got rid of the blue line.
Yes. You can two-line pass, Joe. Two-line passes. Let's go.
And make more of a wide-open type of game. But again, soccer's unique.
Yeah, you don't want to bastardize it, right?
Right. Well, especially World Cup when you have all eyes on the product right now.
Yeah.
I am curious to see how England does respond. Are they going to be a little bit more aggressive? Like, again, this is a game that they should have dominated, right? They were significant favorites in this matchup, and now they're down 1-0.
Let's go to the live lines, Joe. Do you know what the live lines are still showing on this, Joe, for the win? For England, minus 450, actually.
Well, then, if that's the case, Donnie, I would probably look to more than 3 goals in this game. Because if that's the case, that England's going to grind out this victory and they're going to win it, 2-1? I'd rather take a shot on the over in this game.
Man, that's good. So minus 450. Let me take a look at
what's
Joe.
What's the total goals?
Go. What about anytime goal scorer, including extras now still? Harry Kane, minus 165. Marcus Rashford. Jude Bellingham, plus 175 and plus 200, Joe. Now, if I were to give you this, it feels like it's got to be like Harry Kane, but would you take the plus money, a little Rashford or Bellingham?
I mean, I would always take plus money. And the question is going to be, take a bigger, longer-term approach. Do you think England's going to pull this game out? Or do you feel Congo is the one? I would take a shot. Congo's still 3-1 3-1, Donnie, to advance to the next round. Yeah. So if you think Congo's live right now, take them at 3-1 to advance to the next round.
Minus 350 now, Joe. So every minute that goes by, it drops a little bit more. The question's going to be, Joe, when to back the 3 Lions today? Now, that game is live right now. If anything happens, like a lot of times, look, me and Joe got to host the show. We can't just be watching, England and Congo right now at this point. So chat box, make sure you keep it up on me. If we get breaking news and somebody scores a goal, make sure you let us know. If not, we catch it. We'll let you know as well. But when we talk about real breaking news here, LeBron James. Yep. Free agency. It's officially underway. Now, the question's going to come up for us, Joe. What's next for LeBron? You see the graphic right there? That's LeBron thanking Laker Nation at this point, and it was a success. He went to the Lakers when they were at their darkest moments and horrendous, lifted them up, and won a championship. That's all you can ask for, and now he's moving on. But, Joe, did you see some of the latest news from LeBron James today? Do you remember how, the past couple weeks they were talking about LeBron James? Oh, no, he wants max money or close to it. He's going to try to go out there.
Yeah.
He's now taking that back, Joe, saying, if I find the right spot, it's not about the money anymore.
Right. He wants complete happiness, Donnie. That's what he said. Complete happiness. Now, does complete happiness also include a title? You would think so, right? So which team is built now where they can add and the cherry on top in LeBron James and then compete potentially for a East or West championship and more importantly, an NBA title? That's what really matters. Again, now you could bash LeBron and when you look at the title that they won, right, with AD in the bubble and the 60 abbreviated game season and all that, but again, he still brought LA back to prominence. Now, it's been a slow regression. He's dealt with, obviously, load management, age issues. He's playing his potential best basketball at the end of his career, as opposed to what Jordan has done at the end of his career. But at the end of the day, What team? Again, I'll stay here. If he goes to Golden State, in my opinion, there's no shot they win a West title or a championship while he's there. They're old, they're aging. I think if he went to a team like the Knicks and they can make it work, yeah, that's a situation potentially that LeBron James can win a title.
By the way, here's the interesting part about this, Joe. When you take a look at, where he wants to go at this point, because I just had it up on the screen, they took it down. When I'm looking at some of these marketplaces here, let me tell LeBron.
The predictive markets.
Exactly, the predictive markets. I just had it up. There we go. Next team for LeBron James. Do you remember yesterday, Joe? The heavy favorite, Golden State Warriors, 71%.
Yeah.
Do you know they're currently trading here at 40% for that, and the Cavaliers inching closer at 32%? But, Joe, yesterday, the Miami Heat were at 2%. They've now increased to 21% on that contract.
See, does Miami have enough with LeBron? Does Miami? That's the question. They had Jimmy Butler and they couldn't elevate, right? They got close. They got there and lost. But here's the thing. If you bring LeBron, right, to Miami, are they all of a sudden a contender in the East? Do you think that this elevates the Heat to the next level? No,
they're better. But you're right. The question should be asked, Joe. Right? Is where does LeBron go as the missing piece? That's not Miami. Is that what you're trying to say?
That's my point. Correct. You need him to be I don't want to say a role player, Donnie, but you need LeBron not to be the main driver of the offense. If he goes to Miami, he's the biggest name on that roster, and then what? If he went to a team like Detroit with Cade Cunningham, a younger guy, again, I keep saying that. Look at the foundation of these teams in the West, SGA and OKC, Wemby now with Castle and the Spurs. They have a young nucleus foundation. The Knicks have the big three with Brunson, Hart, and obviously Cat, younger talent that a veteran can add to the next level. But where is he going to go? Miami doesn't have that. Golden State doesn't have that. These are all, middle of the road teams that, yes, LeBron elevates them to potentially a playoff contender, and maybe they can make a run in round 1 or 2, but they ain't going to any conference championship, both of those rosters. No shot.
No, not a goal. But there's a man by the name of @the Sit Down with Jeff Nadu saying, have a great show, and I am playing 3K freeze out tourney today. Man's all over the place. Money left and right. Now, somebody said he's already out of the main event. Is that correct? I don't know. Is that somebody just hating on him in the chat box? Did it even start yet? The main event?
I don't know. I'd have to look. I have to go back through the tweets. I thought he just got there. And I told you he was manifesting his house in Ocean City, New Jersey. I hope he brings home first prize. I hope he kills it. At the end of the day, I don't know. I don't know if he's knocked out or not. You think he's knocked out?
I don't know. Staying out there, lap of luxury. But sometimes people just hate on him. Be like, at least he lost those last 10 bets. Meanwhile, you might have went 9-1. But look, people don't fact check around here. They just get wiped out at this point right now.
Yeah, we know that, especially in the gambling industry, right? Yeah.
Phil Ivey, who else? Negreanu, Ivy, who else is out there?
What do you
Moneymaker. Is Moneymaker still around?
Moneymaker. Yeah. Chris Jesus Ferguson, is he part of the?
Wow.
Remember old school? Remember old school? Chris Jesus Ferguson.
How about who is that? Is Stewie Unger still playing? So can you knock off Stewie Unger?
I do know. I used to trade. I'll tell you something. I used to trade with Danny Shack. Used to be he's out there in Vegas. He won, I think, a couple of tournaments in poker back in the day. He's an older guy, older than us. But Danny Shack is in the World Series of Poker tournaments. He was a former commodity trader, so know him back in the day.
Nato says, I'll talk to you later, Don, but I'm playing event today. There you go. Win, as Adrian told Rocky right there at this point.
Let's win, they do. Just win.
Bellingham just got booked. Does that mean a yellow card? Am I getting this correct? I had the lingo down. Does that mean is that what you get booked for? Can't be a red, right? Just rap.
No, I don't know.
Getting booked, that. I believe, is a yellow card. We're learning as we go, Joe, at this point. But
I'm willing to take Congo here. I really do. I think they're going to play.
I'm waiting on England. I'm waiting on England.
Now, to qualify for the next round, I told you it was 3-1 for Congo. It's already down to plus 220.
Yeah, interesting.
So you lost about 80 cents. What are you going to do?
All right, let's see what we got here at this point, because what that means for LeBron James. Joe, and we thought yesterday that LeBron James might actually already have a team by the time we went live today on a Wednesday. That hasn't happened. It's going to come quickly here. You might hear today, tomorrow, whatever. We'll certainly be on that right here on Crossing Lines. But what does it mean for his son? And also, you always look out for family, Joe, right? You say to yourself right now, I don't really know what I'm going to do. Bronny's got $2.3 million on the table. Try to entice him to come back to the Lakers. That's a drop in the bucket. We'll guarantee that $2.3 million. And then LeBron the next day goes, I'm not coming back. But that $3.3 million is guaranteed. So if they tell LeBron James Jr., Bronny James, get out the door, he's still got $2.3 million in his back pocket, Joe.
True. You know what Dad did, though? He played with his son. He got what he wanted, right? He always wanted to play with Bronny on the NBA court. He had the ability to do that this past season. And you know what he did, Donnie? He threw him out of the nest. Fly on your own. I can't carry you anymore. This is it. You're getting the $2.3 million guaranteed. Now go and earn your own coin. That's what it is. That's what he's doing. He's doing the right thing. If you think about it, he can't ride Dad's coattails straight until he's 96 in the old age home.
Ride him off. Like, does Warren Buffett have any kids? I'm sure they're riding the coattails. You know, one of those big stories, too, like talking about like Bill Gates has more money than God, as I like to say.
Okay.
Then he tells kids, like, you're only getting like 10 mil. I'm like, wait a second, you got like 30 billion. Why am I getting I understand 10 million would be ridiculous to get that much. But when your dad's like, yeah, you could have probably had 13 billion. I'm going to give you 5, learn on your own. That's not right, Joe. That's not right. Pass it down. Pass it down.
I could see, 10 million is play money when you're worth 30 billion in that aspect. And then you put it in a trust and you let them, earn it or work and get to a certain level. But 10 million when you're worth 30 billion is like $10.
That's not nice. You
can't even go to Vegas and have a good time with 10 million.
They can't. That goes quick, man. Like Nader's probably, you're playing these big tournaments, you'd be out of that quick. By the way, if we equate that, Joe, to football terms, and we've all been here before, and granted, playing football in the 1980s, a lot of people ran the veer, Joe. Right. It's like that. You're on the 1 yard line. Quarterback puts it in that fullback's stomach, and you see like the read mesh option there. Right. And if you're the fullback, don't you just want to hang on to the ball knowing you're going to score, and the quarterback tries to pull it for himself? Do you see what I mean at that point?
A couple of times that's happened. If you watch some of these games, the fullback does take the rock and carry it on the RPO. So it's crazy.
All right. It is crazy at this point, but you know what? We got a guest ready here. It's Aaron Torres going to join us here because the NBA is popping right now. We want some answers on where some of these people are going and how we can look upon it. Aaron Torres, welcome again, I should say, to Crossing Lines. What's good, man?
Well, I appreciate you guys having me. And first of all, I can confirm as someone who was in Vegas like 2 weeks ago, you need about $10 million to get through a long weekend these days. Listen, I a year ago when we saw all those Vegas is dying stories, Vegas isn't dying. It's the best city in the world. But yeah, you can't get away with a weekend with like $180 like you could 10 years ago. The world is changing, man.
No, it is. And by the way, like Joe's been to Vegas many times, myself as well. It's not as if like you're rolling in the gambling is the issue. It's like you need the $10 million, Aaron, just to get like the resort fees out of the way before you check out.
There's resort fees. I was there like 3 weeks ago, and the vibe was just so different. Everybody was there to see a concert at the Sphere. Nobody was there on the $12 a night Luxor room. And maybe I'm just getting older and I'm hanging out with a different crowd. But no, it isn't the gambling. It is quite literally everything else. So that city it's still a great time. I should be careful, besmirching too much about the greatest city in the world. But like I said, that $72 a night room that you used to be able to split with 4 people, that thing doesn't exist anymore. So
yeah, the links. See, you can't get the links for $29 on a weekday anymore.
Thank you. That's what I'm saying, man. What happened? What happened to the Vegas that I love? What happened to the Vegas that I love?
Aaron, I know we're going to talk NBA, obviously less than 60 days away for college football. You're chomping at the bit. But what did you make of the NBA free agent moves yesterday, most notably with LeBron saying to the Lakers that he's not going to return? What does that mean for him, big picture, and more importantly, Bronny, his son?
I was going to say, the timing of it, 12 hours before, of course, Bronny was, or 12 hours after Bronny was able to get an extension with the Lakers didn't seem coincidental. Listen, I actually do live in LA now. I've been here for about 10 years. It feels like it was time. I know there's this narrative now about the LeBron era. Did it work? it was a disappointment. And anybody who's saying it wasn't a disappointment is a liar. And I do think it is time to move on. Luka Doncic is the star in his prime. Obviously, right before we got on air, they added Walker Kessler, who I do think is, in this NBA world that we live in of Wemby and the OKC and even Carl, you need size and physicality down low. So I do think Walker Kessler does kind of help the next iteration of the Los Angeles Lakers. So with LeBron, I've definitely had my moments with him. I still think he is an incredible talent, but it was time to move on. It was time to start rebuilding through someone else. And I think it was time, honestly, and I think this was something that the Lakers tried to do probably within the last 18 months to 2 years, but it was time to take back the franchise from him. The days of drafting your son, of handpicking the head coach, of handpicking your teammates, it wasn't working. It isn't working. And you're not getting 2016 LeBron James anymore, which I do think is a big part of it. So it makes sense for all sides. There is a place for LeBron James in the NBA, but I think it was time for everybody to move on from the Lakers experiment.
I think you're right on that, Aaron Torres, because I do have a little bit different take on the Lakers, where when he came to them, they were a bum's rush as a franchise at that point. Sort of rescued them. But again, if you're going to win a championship 5 years ago, 6 years ago, you would have hoped that you had some more deep runs in the playoffs, which didn't happen. But the one thing I do get is it was time to move on. The one thing I used to nail the Lakers on was the Kobe Bryant regime at the end of it here. Paying this guy max money, get absolutely nothing back except for the fans in the stands will be happy that Kobe Bryant is playing. It always hold like the Lakers and the Celtics to higher standards. And the same thing with like the Pittsburgh Steelers in the NFL, which I rip them now. They used to be out winning championships. In the past decade, it was like, wait, can we get one game above 500 because it's a cool streak here from Mike Tomlin? What now is the future of the Los Angeles Lakers? And also, what's the future of Bronny with the Los Angeles Lakers, Aaron?
Well, he's got one more year, so he doesn't feel like he's going anywhere. He obviously signed that extension, or, he was able to opt in or whatever it was the other night. But it's Luka's team now. Now, listen, I will say this. We can criticize LeBron for a lot, but he was on the court quite a bit as a Los Angeles Laker, playing at a pretty high level, even into the postseason. Now it's on Luka Doncic to prove that the superstar that the Lakers acquired 2 winters ago, I was on air when that trade happened. It was still one of the craziest days of my career hosting radio. Like, Luka Doncic gets traded for Anthony Davis. Now it's time to prove you can stay healthy, you can be in shape, you can be a leader, and you can do it consistently. I mean, listen, I don't want to diminish what Luka Doncic did with the Mavericks. He did make an NBA Finals, but listen, to the point that we've been having, like the Lakers, the point you just made, Donnie, like the Lakers, the standard is championships, plural. And again, that's why I think part of the LeBron era you can't consider to be a success, because there was a singular championship in the bubble, one more Western Conference Finals run when you get swept. And then other than that, it was a largely forgettable time frame with LeBron James. So it is about Luka now. It is about building for Luka and building a team around Luka. But part of this is on Luka to stay healthy, to be in shape, to be a leader, and to live up to your incredible talents and your capabilities.
Aaron, I want to take a look at Golden State, because if LeBron, let's say, does not decide to go there, I think they're in a major rebuild. Can you talk about what or which player outside of LeBron could potentially make Golden State competitive again, where they can make a deep run in the West?
It's crazy. So I don't know if there is a guy, and I think LeBron will help them, but this team missed the playoffs last year. Like, we have to acknowledge, and I know Jimmy Butler was hurt, and I know in theory if you don't get LeBron, maybe Jimmy Butler is back with the team, but they're close. Listen, I don't want to say they're closer to like last place in the West than OKC and San Antonio. I wouldn't say that. But I think it is more, and even if you get LeBron, and even if you get Anthony Davis, which has been reported, I don't think you're better than San Antonio. I don't think you're better than OKC, and I think you need a lot to go your way to beat one of the two in a 7-game series, let alone both, let alone whoever would hypothetically come out of the East if you want to win a championship. And so that's where I think this whole thing is interesting with Steph Curry. Is it's this weird thing that like none of us have an answer to of, I understand the dynamic of you have a franchise icon in the swan song of his career. You don't want him going somewhere else. You want him retiring in your jersey. But the counter is, okay, you keep trying to build around now a 37, 38, 39-year-old with, oh, by the way, a sidekick who's now Draymond Green, 35, 36, 37 at the tail end of his career. It's just really, really, really hard. And so, I don't know, and maybe there is, maybe I haven't given it enough thought of a great example of a team that really was able to thread that needle and consistently build contenders around an aging star. Like, I was even thinking about this. I'm going a little bit off topic here, but I was even thinking about The Last Dance, the documentary. I mean, the whole documentary was about they won a championship and they still blew it up because they didn't feel like they could keep competing at that level. And so, again, a little bit off topic, but it is the bigger picture of how do you build around an aging superstar? And to your question, Joe, like, I don't know that there is a great answer. And I don't know that even if you get LeBron and even hypothetically, if you got Anthony Davis, I don't think it makes you the favorite. And I still think there's a lot of work to be done from there, even if you do get those guys.
Yeah, it's interesting when you take a look at it, too. So many different moving parts at this point. And sometimes, Aaron, they say you can't go home. Well, how about this? I always thought it was awkward that Kawhi Leonard went to Canada, won a championship, was the king of Canada, and goes, you know what? Perfect spots for me out there in L.A. Not with the Lakers, who the Lakers thought they might have a chance at him. He went to the Clippers. Now he's going back to the Raptors in a massive move. Talk to me maybe what we're looking at from an L.A. perspective for the Clippers on a restart, and also what you're getting in a Kawhi Leonard that's certainly older than the last time he was in Toronto.
Well, I'll tell you, I'm getting a little personal here, but, Kawhi Leonard signed with the Clippers July 5th, 2019. And I know that because it was my wedding day.
No!
Right in the middle of the reception, there are pictures of me and all the fellas looking at a phone, a Woj bomb of, wait, Kawhi signed with the Clippers and Paul George is going to the Clippers. And so, if you took me on that day, July 5th, 2019, besides the marriage is still going strong, but I thought the Kawhi Clippers marriage might be a little bit better. I can't believe how bad this was. And you always knew that he was just, even 7-8 years ago before load management was in vogue, you knew you weren't getting 75 games out of him, but to essentially have no real and guys, think about the first time that Kawhi was in Toronto and remember Steve Ballmer was buying courtside seats in Toronto and sitting courtside for this guy. And so to see it end like this, again, this is one, and I think we do this in the NBA too often, we know the guys that matter in this era. It's Jalen Brunson, it's Wemby. I think, even a Steph Castle, a Dylan Harper, this or that. Does Kawhi matter? Like it's a cool guy to put on the marquee, to have on your ticket, your season ticket package brochure or whatever. I don't think this makes Toronto a fundamentally better team. I don't think we're going to be looking up next, Memorial Day and the Raptors will be playing the New York Knicks in the Eastern Conference Finals. I just think it was time to start over. It was clear the Clippers weren't going to commit to him long term, him being Kawhi Leonard. And it feels like to me, the Raptors are trying to find lightning in a bottle again, which is weird because obviously nobody that Kawhi was involved with when he was in Toronto 7 years ago now, nobody's there. It's not like, Nick Nurse is still there and Masai Ujiri is still there. It just feels weird to me. But like I said, I knew he wasn't going to stay in we all knew he wasn't going to stay in Los Angeles. So the question became where.
All eyes on LeBron and Kawhi. What about AD? Is he going to stay? And more importantly, Aaron, can he play more than 30 or 40 games this year?
That's the big X factor. And again, this is another one. Listen, there are so many guys in the NBA like this. And I remember like when James Harden got traded, ironically, also from the Clippers everyone's trying to make James Harden this huge thing. And it's like, have we been watching the same James Harden? Like, I don't think, he's not a guy that's going to go wherever he's going to go and have that kind of X factor. And I think it's the same with Anthony Davis. Listen, he had his moment. They won a title. Remember, to the point I just made with Kawhi, 2019 when Kawhi won a title is a long time ago now. 2020 with Anthony Davis leading the Lakers, helping the Lakers to an NBA title was a long time ago. And, you even go back to that Lakers bubble championship, and I'm not even one of those, it's a Mickey Mouse championship, it doesn't count. But Anthony Davis, to your point, Joe, who can never stay healthy, got 2 months off before the start of the playoffs with a little global pandemic. Okay. So unless that's happening again, I don't think he's playing a bunch of games. I think all you're ultimately doing is saving him and resting him and playing him enough to hopefully keep him healthy for the postseason. And obviously, if he was a Golden State Warrior, hypothetically, that's what you hope is your answer to, again, the big guys with OKC, the big guys in Denver, the big guys certainly in San Antonio. So yeah, he's one, like, he'd be a very nice piece. I don't think he is the piece anymore, but ultimately, if it is Golden State, I think he's a solid addition. I just don't think he's the guy that you build around anymore.
Aaron, any other free agent transactions that caught your eye? Us as the Sixers, hey, Puri coming over from the Knicks. Well, that's fantastic. And also, Dean Wade signs a 4-year, $39 million contract. What did you see from free agency yesterday? And also, some of the guys that haven't signed yet or maybe moving teams here that you might be in on.
Well, it's not technically free agency. First of all, I'm sure Jeff Nadeau was thrilled with all the 76ers moves based on the last time I talked to him or last time I was on. He had a lot to say about the state of the Sixers organization. But I think, again, it's not technically free agency, but the two things that are kind of intertwined, Ja Morant to the Portland Trail Blazers. Yes. It's the tough thing of Memphis had to move on. There's probably not much left, but if it somehow hits, you're the Trailblazers. Like, you're irrelevant. You're trying to get a new arena. The owner seems to be hinting that he may be moving the team. It's like, if it does work, even for a year or two, it's probably worth the gamble if you're the Portland Trailblazers. So that's one. And again, I know it's not technically free agency, but then to kind of piggyback off that, about 36, 72 hours ago, Portland also felt like the place that was most likely to land Jaylen Brown in a trade. And now they say that this is kind of their big move. And so Ja Morant is a Portland Trailblazer. Jaylen Brown, it seems like he doesn't want to be there. I still don't know what is the right landing fit for him. Now, again, if Ja Morant can be traded, Jaylen Brown certainly can be. So I'm not saying that it won't happen. But I do wonder with the Celtics is that I do wonder if, as the offseason goes on, if something doesn't happen here in the next 72 whatever, next 10 days, week, whatever it is, through July 4th, I do wonder if there is a move to be made. Is there? Oh, okay. Do you guys scare me with the breaking news? I thought I was like, there's no way Jaylen Brown's getting traded. And then you were going to have a Jaylen Brown graphic for me right when we came out of there.
Shocking the world all the way across. Now, the one thing that we do love, it is the 1st of July. We opened the show talking about it's football season. Like Joe Lisi right there. Soon as the screen flips here, he's ready to go. He's counting down days to college football. You're out on the West Coast at this point now. So any insights that you might have quickly here on maybe USC and some action this year?
I mean, it's make or break. It really is. And, it's tough. USC did win 9 games last year, and this is the Big Ten. It's not the Pac-12. I just am at the point with Lincoln Riley. I need to see it to believe it. I do. To get over the hump, they do have a tough schedule. Ohio State at home, at Indiana, Oregon at home, Penn State. I know Penn State has a new coaching staff, but that game's on the road as well. And listen, I hate to say it because I do think at some point we're going to get to a 24-team playoff, but right now we're only at a 12-team playoff. And so I just gave you 4 really tough games. And USC essentially has to go 2-2 in those games. And then, by the way, you can't lose to a Washington. You can't lose on one of these random East Coast road trips. And really the other thing with USC that I think is interesting, they cancel the Notre Dame game, which that's their prerogative, but their out of conference is so weak that they're not going to get the benefit of the doubt when you start comparing them with these teams that play tough out of conference schedules. So, I don't know if there's a prop somewhere on make the playoff versus not make the playoff. I would still probably go not make the playoff. I just don't like their schedule. I get why people are excited, but I am at the point that I need to see it. And again, I think relatively speaking in the Big Ten, I don't think their schedule is really advantageous to what they want to do this year.
Aaron, I couldn't have said it better. I'm with you 100%. For $11 million, Lincoln Riley was not brought to USC to make them 9-3. He was there to bring them a college football national championship. And to your point, where's the marquee win in his resume there? He couldn't even knock off Utah when he had Caleb Williams. I understand Williams got hurt, but they couldn't even win a Pac-12 championship back then. I just want to ask, if they don't make the playoffs, and let's say he's 8-4, 9-3 again, is he out the door for 27?
First of all, I was thinking about this while you were talking there, Joe. Talked about how the LeBron era was a failure in LA. The Kawhi era was a failure in LA. The Lincoln Riley era is trying to, I don't know if it's me. I don't know if it's something that I did when I moved here about 8-10 years ago or whatever, but it's tough. It's tough. One, because USC is a private school, we don't fully know the details of the contract. How much would actually be owed? Is it 100%? Is it, like the Brian Kelly contract that's spread out over, 7-8 years? So that part is tough. What I will tell you living out here, let me put it this way. Lincoln Riley does not have a lot of advocates in the building. And the one thing I will say, because I did not grow up as a USC fan or even in this area of the country, the Notre Dame thing really bothered a lot of prominent alums, both in the media, football players, but also just the everyday fan, is that that game means something to USC people. And I was always told, I'm sure you guys know the name Petros Papadakis, but he hosts radio out here. I used to work with him back in the day. And he said, you can't lose the UCLA game. You can't lose the Notre Dame game. And I understand it from the USC perspective of we're in the Big Ten now. It's a new world. To the point I just made, we got Ohio State, Penn State on the schedule, etc. But I also understand that in LA, that game means a lot. And so to cancel it, that's fine. But now you canceled Notre Dame because Ohio State and Penn State and all these teams are on the schedule. Now you got to go beat some of those teams. And so what I would say is any real goodwill that he has is gone with the fan base. You guys know, like LA is not the type of market that it's not even that they're not going to have patience. They're just not going to show up. And if you're 5-4 heading into November, you're going to see a lot of empty seats in the Coliseum. And at that point, I don't think it would be out of the realm of possibility, even an 8-4 type season, that changes could hypothetically be made. Because like I said, the fan base really is kind of at their wits' end with this guy. He's come in, he's changed a lot of what makes USC USC. And the one thing that makes USC USC more than anything is winning. And he has not done enough of that through his first, 4 years at USC.
Fantastic stuff from Aaron Torres here. Love to have him as a guest. It gives you everything. We talk a little USC action. We were going to talk UFC action here. Also, some action on those Los Angeles Lakers, but he also gives us the big information, like in 4 days, he is going to have going to have to buy some presents here, take the lady out, relax on an anniversary. So we're getting it all covered with you, Aaron, man. Appreciate your time today.
It's crazy. My birthday is July 6th, so I don't get a birthday anymore. We celebrate the anniversary, and then we just move on to Monday. So appreciate you guys having me. Anytime you need me, just holler, okay?
Awesome. Aaron Torres, man, fantastic guest, as always, on Crossing Lines. Thanks for some time today. On a Hump Day Wednesday, Joe, you get some great stuff. I know your juices get flowing. Look, it was supposed to be all NBA, but I know I had to throw a little bones out there for some USC action.
Well, I've talked to Aaron specifically for college football, so to hear him talk about USC and echo what I've been saying about Lincoln Riley for the past 4 years, taking over that program and not bringing it to relevance or the pinnacle of the Big Ten now is disheartening. Again, we'll see how it plays out, but you're getting $11 million to win a national championship and get to the college football playoffs, something he hasn't done.
I'm hearing Aaron Torres doing massive numbers for us on Rumble right now, Joe. Do you think Rumble and Kick out there? Absolutely fantastic. I want to build that out. I want to make my mission to get us going on Rumble out here. Well, you want to Twitter and all that stuff, too.
You and I have to go on a live stream. We got it down in South
tonight,
Jersey.
live stream, Rumble. We'll get a couple cheesesteaks and we'll watch,
Let's do
U.S. men's national team tonight. Have some fun. But, Joe, top stories today, which does include the United States taking on Bosnia out there in California. Look at that. Look at the kits for tonight, Joe, in the round of 32. Boys are ready. Boys are ready.
Boys are ready. They better step up. Now, I tell you, I've sort of embraced the USA team. Right, obviously home country. But now, I tell you, look at these Italians. And I know Giovanni Reina. I mean, come on, Giovanni Sebastian.
Balogun, he's Italian, isn't he? Balogun and Pulisic Italians.
Pepe, Ricardo Pepe. Give me these guys. All these guys are live today. Sebastian Ballhalter is plus 340. Giovanni Reina, anytime goal scorer, plus 170. I will say this. Flash told us to take the alt line yesterday.
Yes.
So then we should take the over in the game.
-1.5. Yep,
yeah, but we should take the over in the game.
Yeah, but what's it over? The total's 2.5, Joe. Now, I'm a maven now out here in these streets on social media, Joe. I got tweets going around that calls 2-1 U.S. tonight.
Well, that's
no handicap needed. No handicap needed, Joe.
Let's take a shot. Maybe they blow them out 4-1. From what I've heard from the people, and we heard Flash say they should win this game. Carver believes that as well. There's no way they should lose this game. A lot of pressure, and we see pressure on England right now. Updated score still 1-0. 45 minutes in, Donnie. Donnie, I'm telling you this now. Brazil was able to cut the lead when they were down 1-0 to Japan. I think they were around 30 minutes or 40 minutes.
Yep.
The longer this goes over 50 or 60 minutes, you're going to start to see pressure on England, and then they might force, and then that could lead to a potential mistake or open goal. So I like Congo. I like their position right now. And again, we should have taken them at 3-1 to advance. When they
I'm waiting,
up.
Joe, in England. I'm waiting. Minus 210. By the way, my government name is Seymour. Do you know where that our homeland is? England with Seymour, Joe. So
you're English?
I take it. Well, Seymour got to be. Look, I'm English, German,
I was going to say
Spanish,
German
Cuban.
Okay, but I knew German
Italian.
was in there.
I got 25 Italian, 25 Cuban, 25 English, and 25 German.
Now, I will say this. Do you think I'm all Italian?
No. No, I think you're Metagon. What are you?
Yeah, on my father's side, I'm Metagon. Yeah, correct. No, Czechoslovakian, but we don't tell anyone.
The Czechs?
Where's
that near? Croatia? Where is that at? Is that Yugoslavia? Where is it?
Poland, all in that area. Yeah. You know? So that's it.
By the way, quick live on that England game, minus 185. I'm waiting to strike. You know, you see like Braveheart, hold.
Hang in there.
Joe,
no, that's what
diamond
you're saying.
Hands, no paper hands, diamond hands tonight.
Hang in there. Don't go down. Hang in there.
Hey, by the way, did you see yesterday Major League Baseball, Joe, the brawl or like semi-brawl that we had yesterday in Boston? Did you see that between them and the Nats?
I was out. Yeah. There was almost a brawl.
Yeah,
is that why they started so slow? It was 1-1 headed into the sixth.
You had to get the boys fired up. You know, you get a Contreras all upset. You get a strikeout. You get some words. It's hot outside, Joe. And again, you're not a first-place team. You're like a last-place team with the Sox. So you got to show some fight at times. They had a rumble yesterday.
You love to see the rumble, but you know Boston was one of the hottest teams. Boston was one of the hottest teams, right? What did they have won? 6 straight. They knocked off the Yankees. They stepped up the night before. They won that game. I think 6-2 or 6-3. And the Nationals. We talk about overs. It was Minnesota as the top team heading into last night with 63% to the over. That game just cashed last night with Minnesota and Astros. But right in the top 3 is Washington. Like 60% of their games trend to the over.
Smashing overs. And by the way, I did previewing the show today, Joe, I was out by the hot tub. Like I used to have my hot tub set at 100. It's going to be over 100 for the next couple. Like 105 is in the forecast here for southern New Jersey. So I had to turn it down a little bit at that point, John. Like, I love a nice hot tub, but not when it's hot outside like that.
Listen, the hot tub I love, too, when it's nice and it's 7, 8 o'clock, and it starts to get a little chilly after a nice night, like you're out there in Arizona. Love the hot tub. In the hot tub during the day at 104, I don't know how you could do that, especially if there's no canopy, Donnie.
Yeah, I have a canopy over mine, but I turned it down because, again, Donnie, why don't you just I hate the pool because the pool is cold. I need warm water wherever I go.
It's not always cold.
Let's vacation up in May. What, 80 degrees? If you're not 90 plus, I'm not getting in your water, Joe. I'm not getting in your water.
So you're telling me if I invited Joe over, there's nothing
refreshing about a pool. Nothing Oh, jumped in. It felt good. No, it doesn't. I need it to be warm as hell.
Well, when you go to Atlantic City and you go to Vegas, those pools are heated. What are you talking about?
No, those pools are freezing cold in Vegas for the most part. You ever get in some of those pools out in Vegas, like Caesar's Palace?
Not all of
them. I almost froze last time.
Well, you know why they start out cold because, like, if you're at multiple ones with an outside arrangement or an outside pool, the sun, when it's 109 out there in the desert.
Dry heat, Joe.
It's dry heat, yeah. Dry heat and you burn like a lobster.
Like a lobster. And by the way, Dave Roberts, get out there. Let's get that graphic back up. First to 1,000. Why? Because he manages the Dodgers. They win every single night. Man's got back-to-back world titles, probably going to get a third. 1,000 career victories for the man.
So is Dave Roberts, like Joe Torre? where
like he's on autopilot.
Yeah, like he doesn't really have to. He doesn't do it. Yeah. Obviously with gut and feel, because you have Freddie Freeman.
Correct.
You have Smith. You have Mookie Betts. You have Max Muncy. Ohtani.
Exactly. Like, how do you make the wrong decision? Right? Like, there's no wrong decision you can make on that team.
Well, here's the this is why. Like, is he really managing right now? They're smashing the crap out of the baseball. Every night they're good for 8 or 9 runs. It started when they were with San Diego, and it hasn't stopped. They got that over. Of course, I had over 12.5 altered. It ends at 9-3. It's just amazing with these alt lines sometimes how they all of a sudden it just stops. And then
was it a sad day in your life when they left the Murph, when the Chargers left the Murph to head up north?
Well, I mean, when the come on, Lionel James, Chuck Muncy, Dan Fouts.
Yep.
I mean, J.J. Jefferson, remember him?
Yep.
Wes Chandler.
Wes Chandler had the goggles?
No, that was goggles? That was Johnny J.
Man, flying around out there, little Air Coryell offense way back in the day. By the way, talking about the NFL, Joe, a guy that won't be in the NFL this year, and he was a bit... You better let me in there with Sorsby. Sorsby gets thrown out of college, goes put me in the supplemental draft. NFL goes, beat it, kid. You ain't getting in the supplemental draft. And then at the same time, Joe goes, I'll sue you. And NFL goes, bring it on. He goes, I'll see you next year then.
Can we stop for a second? We are making Brendan Sorsby out to be like, I don't know, Michael Vick. I mean, he's a good quarterback. I'm not going to deny that he elevated at Cincinnati, and he had, I don't think, a lot of elite talent around him, and his coach Satterfield and everything else, back that recruited him over there. But when you look at that, though, Donnie, and you look at Sorsby, right, big picture, I mean, do we think he's a first-round talent? I don't think so. Not necessarily off of the body of work that I saw in college.
By the way, I don't want to interrupt you on this, Joe. But what was his? If he came out in the legitimate draft, what was his grade anyway? What was his grade?
Look, there's no way he's better than grade-wise Darian Mensah, Mestamaker, Arch Manning.
Yeah.
I would put Sam Levitt over the body of work that he's done at Arizona State in his first year in LSU. Trinidad Chambliss, I think from his body of work, taking over that team and going to a semifinal college football playoff game and elevate. I mean, I don't put Brendan Sorsby up there. I mean, Brendan Sorsby was a good quarterback that got covers as the quarterback of Cincinnati, but by no means was he one of the best transfers. Texas Tech was in dire need because Will Hammond was in a situation where the kid was a deer in the headlights at times, and he's coming off an ACL, so they wanted assurance with a more experienced quarterback. But, I mean, Sorsby was good, but, I mean, he's not like we're making him out to be like Arch Manning, who, by the way, Arch Manning is overrated and hasn't stepped up at this point.
Way overrated. When the whole plan for the best recruit in the history of the sport was he's going to sit 2 years, maybe he's not the best recruit in the history of the sport anymore. He's there
because of the granddad and the uncles.
Sims. Remember when Sims went down? We all knew Major Applewhite was the better quarterback, but it didn't happen? Come on now.
Right. Well, Sims amazing. He went to Ramapo. But when you think about, I'll just say this, Arch Manning, love him, right? Oh, he beat Michigan. He beat Texas A&M. Great. Okay. Texas A&M was at home. 5 road games for Arch Manning. Lost to Ohio State. Lost to Florida, right? He lost to Georgia by 25 points.
Yeah.
He didn't cover against a garbage Mississippi State team. They had to go into overtime. And the same thing the following week with Kentucky, a garbage Kentucky team, and they were forced into overtime. So I don't want to hear how Arch Manning dominated last year. Give me a break.
Archie, by the way, football, it's the season now. We got more talk on the way, but we're going to re-rack rate here because we're going to get to some Major League Baseball. Then we're getting to the games of the day with Dan Alexander, so make sure you stay tuned. Quick break on Crossing Lines. We'll be right back. Major League, baby. Time to get some action. Afternoon today, Joe. But we do have a game that is already underway. That is the Chicago White Sox and the Baltimore Orioles. Let me just bring up my handy-dandy scoreboard to see if anybody's wilting in the heat. White Sox 1-0 in the top of the second inning. And then we move on to the rest of the slate, Joe. It's going to pick up at 1:10. That's the Rangers and the Guardians. But a couple quick topics from last night. Braves leaking oil. Philadelphia Phillies chasing them down tonight. Pittsburgh Pirates in town. Your boy, DRS, going to be in the crowd tonight for fireworks night. Paul Skeens versus Zach Wheeler. That'll be tremendous here. But, Joe, we got to get to some of the day's action today. So I'm going to lead with you before I go over a couple games that I really like. But I think we probably should start with Tigers-Yanks. Any thoughts on that game for you before I give it a whirl?
Well, again, I like the Tigers in this matchup. I think they match up well against Warren. I was looking at the total. It was 9 for much of the 9. I don't know, Donnie. Again, Detroit's been hitting the baseball. I like the 9.5, but again, I'm going to wait in game to see if I can pick up an 8.5 or a flat 8 or even 7.5. I lean to the over. Don't love it, but I like the Tigers in the matchup.
Hear me out on this one, Joe. And this is going to start right away. And if you guys aren't following at Donnie Rightside here, at Go for the Two, at Crossing X Lines here, and the one thing I do think is important, I always tag the Crossing Lines show. So if you're not catching on, not paying attention to this or that, it's always going to be involved. But my plays are already out if you want to go check on social media. If not, get involved right now because I do like the Detroit Tigers today, Joe. I think it makes a ton of sense. And here's also some of the extracurriculars that you don't get. We're not talking about a game, Joe, it's going to be played in March or April. Hey, 62 degrees. Ooh, that feels warmer. 38 degrees. It's freezing. Joe, first pitch today, 135. 96 degrees with a wind blowing out to dead center field. Let's take a look at Will Warren. Good pitcher on the season, Joe, but last 30 days paints a different picture. K rate on the season, 23%. How about last 30 days, Joe? Down to 15%. Then you take a look at, if you combine his last 96 hitters over the past month, what he's been doing, ISO against, 207, elevated. Weighted on base percentage, 388, elevated. Look at this line. The worst hitter in the lineup, Joe, ISO power-wise, is a 147, which is right at that medium line. It's Kevin McGonigal. The rest of the lineup, absolutely torching right-handed pitching with a ton of lefties in that lineup. Give me the team total, Joe, over 4.5 here for the Tigers. Right. Launch pad could be conditions out there in Detroit, out there at Yankee Stadium. With Yankee Stadium at 95 degrees?
I like the look. I mean, whenever you give me those stats about elevated, with the pitchers and everything else, I take a look. I mean, you were dead on with we talked about the Colorado-Miami game. That game trended to the over. Now, 2 games, they've been knocking the cover and the crap out of the baseball, so can it continue a little bit later today? I think the Rockies have Freeland on the mound. But to your point about Detroit, again, I like the match. I think Detroit's the much stronger team. I think they're going to be able to wrap around Warren around a telephone pole today. I really do. But again, I'm not willing from an over better to pull the trigger at 9.5. I'd rather get a scoreless inning or so and then pull it at 8.5 or lower.
By the way, speaking of Warren, Chris Warren in the chat box, Tigers money line plus 125. Dylan Bigler home run there. Looks like a bang, plus 400 spot. I do think we get some runs. That's why I wanted to get that out early because we do end our show around 1:30, but I always like the people to have that information before they get it in case we have an afternoon game, which we do today, so people can dig on that late. Here's a game, Joe, I want to talk about, which I don't like. And some say, well, Donnie, why would you bring up a game you don't like? Hear me out on this. My mind is programmed to find inefficiencies with pitchers and lineups that can beat them around. Sometimes you got to go a little bit off the grid. Sometimes you go to games that looks like it's going to be low-hanging fruit. Take a look at this one today, Joe. Texas Rangers and the Cleveland Guardians. You look at Mackenzie Gore, the left-handed pitcher on the mound. He's actually been really good against right-handed batters. A little bit of a struggle against lefties, but sometimes, Joe, you look at lineups themselves. The Cleveland Guardians. I'm going to read you some statistics on ISO power numbers. Again, it shows you the power metric where it's like you want to be at least a 150 to 160 or higher to be average in Major League Baseball. Take a look at the last 30 days for the Guardians' power numbers against lefties, Joe. Fry, 136. It's just a little bit below. Now we go. Chase DeLauder, 0. Rhys Hoskins, 0.050. Kyle Manzardo, 0.053. Brian Rocchio, 0. Gabriel Arias, 0. Khalil Watson, 0. Austin Hedges, 100. And then there you go. Daniel Schneemann in the 9 holes, barely going to get any at bats. He's got a 188. So when I talk about games that I like, I love to bring up games that look terrible from a batter's perspective, Joe.
Well, that's not good for me because here we go.
Jesus.
Joe Contrarian took alt over the 9.5. It's the last game in the series. And again, these teams... I can't always agree with you.
Man.
I can't always agree with you. Now that's good to know. Now I know why we see a 7.5 in the market. I get that. But here's the thing, early start, I'm willing to take a shot that the Guardians or the Rangers, I actually think the Rangers will smash them. But I think the Rangers, I think this game could get to 8.5, 9 easy. You're seeing multiple books at 7.5 at minus 115 to the over. That, to me, now I understand why the 7.5 makes sense. Yeah. But I'll lean to the – this is one of my plays. I put it in a parlay. I like Texas and the Guardians over. It's not one of my better plays. I'll give it the 2 picks for tonight whenever you give me the go-ahead.
Yeah, we'll get it. Yep. We'll nail these. And by the way, one of the games I do like tonight, Joe, 8:10 Eastern start, Cincinnati and Milwaukee. You take a look at Andrew Abbott, the left-handed pitcher on the mound. What do lefties particularly do well, Joe, right? They get left-handed batters out, and he's been spectacular. Only 103 lefties he's faced as a lefty on the season, Joe. 105 ISO against and a 274 weighted on base percentage and a 30% K rate here, which is really good. But that's not what we're focused on, Joe. How's he doing against right-handed batters? Not so good. His last 87, Joe, 250 ISO against 381 weighted on base percentage. So in this game, I'm not actually going to take a team total, even though you have a chock-full lineup of right-handed batters. I'm going to pick 2 right-handed batters out that are scorching left-handed left-handed pitching, and go with some RBI props. Second in the lineup, anticipated, Wilson Contreras. 179 ISO power number, but a 436 weighted on base percentage. Then, Joe, Andrew Vaughn, due up in the cleanup spot, 32 at-bats against left-handed pitching over the past month. How about a 370 ISO? Off the charts, a 510 weighted on base percentage. I'm going to take both of those, Joe. Plus 140 on Vaughn, plus 133 on Contreras. Give me one of those guys, just like we did last night with the Cubs, and I got the Swanson bet, and we'll be profitable. I think I might be able to steal 2 here, Joe. I'm taking some RBI props tonight with the Brew Crew.
I like the look. Again, I mean, if I took a shot in this game, now this series has been trending to the under. I believe Brewers won last night 6-2. It was dead under the 9.5 that they posted. I could be wrong, but I think it was definitely an under in that matchup. Again, Abbott's tough because I feel like Abbott's very hot and cold. There's days that he could pitch like he's like Tom. Sometimes he's like Tom Glavine, where he's just mowing them down, and other times they wrap him for 8-9 runs. So total is 9. I'm a little leery. I would probably play it to the under if I had to. I'm not playing this game in any capacity, but I would take a shot. Dela Cruz, does he have a good number for a home run today? Take a shot on Ellie.
How about that, Ellie? Let me see what Ellie lines up with for today against us, because Drone is on the mound. He struggles a little bit with righties. Ellie De La Cruz got some real, again, only 9 at-bats against lefties over the past month, Joe, but 375 ISO and almost a 500 weighted on base percentage. You got a lot of plus batters in that lineup today for the Cincinnati Reds, but for me, Joe, I went a little Brew Crew RBI action. Last game we're going to talk about later on tonight, Joe. 9:40 p.m. Eastern. The Giants are in town to take on the Arizona Diamondbacks today. My focus of this is actually on San Francisco, because usually, Joe, you go, hey, man, Zach Gallen's a good veteran pitcher. I don't want to fade him. He is fade material up and down the chart. Joe, his last 129 batters he's faced, how about a 222 ISO, a 410 weighted on base percentage? But you know what the kicker is here, Joe? In Major League Baseball, if you're a pitcher, you have to be 20% or higher as a K rate. His last 30 days, Gallen, 7.8%, Joe, which means the ball is in play. I have 8+ batters in that lineup tonight over the past 30 days against right-handed pitching with Gallen struggling. Give me the team total Giants, Joe. It's 4.5 at a minus 118 price. I'll get 5 runs here on the road. And by the way, you know what I like too on these team totals? Both road teams, Joe. No matter what, I'm getting 9 at-bats. Love that.
So, Donnie, we don't talk about the picks before the show, but this is my total. This is my total for the night. I'll tell you why. So I've been playing. So I told you. I told you 2 days ago when we started doing the show. Arizona was the second worst team for overs in Major League Baseball. They are now dead last. But if you look at the body of work, they trend 56% to the under this year. But the last 2 games, game 1 of the series, they won 5-4. That was right on the number of 9. 9. And then last night's total was 8.5, 9, and they got 10 runs. They won at 8-2, right? So the bats for Arizona starting to come around, and I'm with you about Gallen. I think he sucks. I think the San Francisco hasn't been hitting well. I think they break out today because they should be able to, at least in my opinion, get 5 or 6 runs in this game, and that's why I altered the total. Donnie, you're seeing 9.5s in the market, juice to the under at minus 112. I altered it as high as 11.5. This is my favorite total of the day so far.
Beautiful. Love when the stars align at this point. By the way, tonight, again, I am going to be sitting there with a phone in my hand trying to keep track of Team USA playing, sitting in like 95-degree sweltering heat at 8 o'clock trying to get some fireworks in and fighting traffic, which I never would have done in the past, Joe. But I love my new lifestyle where I actually get to wait up late. I get to wake up 6:30 or 7. I get to enjoy my time. But sometimes you got to get to the U.S. and Bosnia tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, which means we got a guest who last time, Joe, I got to tell you, came on the show and was like, Team USA is not going to win. I want to see if Dan Alexander, our guy Newbie, is ready to rock and roll with Team USA tonight. Danny boy, what's good, man?
I'll tell you what, I mean, thanks for having me on, guys. Heading on into 4th of July weekend, I would be insane to come on here and say I'm fading Team USA again. I'll tell you what, though, the Team USA fans are certainly hoping that I'm picking against them because I did it in both those matches. I took the double chance against them, and we lost the first 2, and then I was like, you know what? This game against Turkey that means nothing, let me back the U.S. And then with 30 seconds left, we lose that double chance where we back the U.S. So, Donnie, I know anyone who watched this show last time and has been following me on Twitter, they're hoping that I'm picking the Bosnia side here tonight because it usually bodes pretty well here for Team U.S., man.
We're going to get to Team USA in just a few moments, but it's great to have you on, and we are a live show as we go. England and the Congo, they're at the half. Most would say, okay, what's England? 1-0, 2-0 at this point, rolling. They're down 1-0 at the break here. Signs of life possibly here. How are we looking for the second half, Dan? And what do you make of England needing to get that equalizer?
I mean, I don't think many people, even if you thought Congo had a shot in this game at making it a little bit dicey, 7 minutes into the game and the Congo's leading. Here was my concern heading into it. And pre-flop, again, I do what I like doing in these games. If I like the dog, you can get a better price taking them outright, but I like taking them on the double chance margin, the double chance, especially in the 90 minutes, because that gives you the chance of a draw as well. I thought that's how Congo was going to play this. I thought they were going to set up deep in their own end, really force England to break through, but they are counter-attacking. I mean, they had one shot and they had one goal. So now coming out of half, England's trailing 1-0. My concern for England in this one was simply what England does best, man. Come knockout stage, things get a little bit dicey for the Three Lions. Now, again, I didn't have Congo heading into half with a lead. That does surprise me. But Thomas Tuchel and this team have never had an elimination game under this new regime here. So I think maybe just a little bit of pressure for them early, but Donnie, they're not getting their asses kicked right now. Yeah. They have generated more chances. They've generated more expected goals. So I think that settles in here in half number 2. They find that equalizer here, and you're looking at a 1-1 potentially going to extra. But surprising, they're just kicking off now. We'll see what ends up happening. But Congo now, they can just sit back, and I think that's the script for them. Throw everyone in your box, see if they can break it down. That's what I would do.
Yeah, Dan, I mean, I talked to Donnie as well, that they're going to get tight as this game goes on. So to your point, if you're playing this from an in-game perspective, is there a certain time level that you start to get nervous if you're backing England here? You just said Congo's going to play more defense. Yeah. Are we like 20 minutes in? Is it 5 minutes in? What time variance can you give us in the second half of this matchup?
If you ask England fans, it was when the game kicked off. That's when they were nervous. But as far as from a betting perspective, I think you really have to start sweating your England ticket if they're not able to answer within this opening 20 minutes here. I'll be quite honest with you. I think the tighter that England gets, the worse it's going to be for them. I also think you're going to find out in this 20 minutes, does the Congo really just sit back? I think that's what I would expect them to do. That's what I would do if I was managing the squad, but I haven't even gotten close to being on a World Cup sideline. So we'll see how the game planning really works out here. If they get to the hydration break and they're coming to the sideline still down 1-0, I think that's when the eyes start getting a little bit wide and they start thinking, oh, is this actually happening to them? But England quick to get some counterattacking here going right out of the half. So like I said, the XG numbers are insane. And Congo, they've had one shot on goal and it was a goal. You've already had 4 shots on goal for England. One of them was blocked by a defender. It should have been a goal. So I think they break through here. But if you're asking me the timing, you get to the hydration break and you haven't equalized. That's when you start really sweating. And that's where I wouldn't be jumping in on England.
Minus 210 right now, live price here on England. Let's see if they can get this one tied up here. Maybe go to extras, maybe go to penalty kicks. We'll find out. 2 more games on the docket today, Dan. 4 p.m., Belgium and Senegal, U.S. and Bosnia. But before we get there, sometimes I like to go back to what happened last night. I love big environments, and none bigger than playing at, Estadio Azteca down there in Mexico City. 2-0 win there for Mexico as they advanced. The place was jubilation here. I think I've read since 40 years that they advanced to the knockout stage. Talk to me about L3. There you go. Since 1986, first knockout stage win. That country is blazing right now.
Yeah, curse is broken. And credit to the fans who were sitting outside the Ecuadorian hotel. I don't know if Sue saw that making the rounds on social media. They were blasting off fireworks. They were playing the drums. And I bring that up simply because this Ecuadorian side, who typically doesn't concede to anyone, they were not ready to play a match last night. And they certainly were not ready to play a match in which the energy level for Mexico was sky high. I'll tell you what, man, I thought because Ecuador, they were a team who typically trains at altitude. They play in Quito, which is actually higher altitude than what they have at Stadium Azteca last night. No one is beating Mexico on their own soil. The absolute electricity that is going through that country right now. And I'll say, there are few things better in sports than watching the crowd explode when a host nation scores a goal, especially when a host nation scores a goal in an elimination match. So for the first time, I had to eat my words and say, okay, this Mexico team is for real. I think they were a product of who they were in their group, but beating Ecuador, a side that typically doesn't even give up a goal in regular time, let alone 2 goals in the first, near 30 minutes, that energy level that Mexico is able to play at, I think they are going to be a tough out, and they get the winner of this game. So they're watching this game thinking, oh, if England does end up pulling this off, we've already seen that a team like Congo can jump all over this England side. So if I'm Mexico, I'm feeling real good about my chances to not only now that the curse is broken, we're talking quarters. We're talking semis, because I don't see either of these teams matching up with that energy of Mexico, whoever comes out of this match.
Dan, 4:00 matchup, Belgium, Senegal. Belgium across multiple books, minus 182. Senegal, slight underdog at plus 148. Could Cinderella be barking again in the 4:00 matchup?
Here's for me, I'll be honest, I think they certainly could be barking here, because I just don't understand this pricing on a Belgium team. Like, we're near almost $2 favorites to advance. This is Belgium. This isn't, Spain. This isn't Portugal. What have you seen in this tournament that makes you feel like this team should be laying $2 to move on against a Senegalese team who, sure, if you look at what happened in this tournament, they had 2 losses and then they beat up on a bad Iraq team. Sure, they scored 5 goals in that matchup, but don't forget, when they played France, heading to stoppage time, Senegal was trailing by just nearly a goal, because they end up scoring a goal to get in with 95th minute. And then at the 96th minute, Mbappe does what Mbappe does, and he covers the spread there for France. So that game was closer than that final said. And the fact that Senegal was able to put up 2 against Norway, okay, this Norwegian defense isn't anything to write home about, but that's something to be excited about. I think the Senegalese side also watched that Egypt game, watched that Iran game, and showed if you're able to negate what's going to happen up front, like this is all a forward team for Belgium. If you're able to stop De Bruyne, if you're able to slow down that front line, which I think the Senegalese defense has enough to do, then you're going to be potentially in this game. Now, I say that thinking that this defense can hang, both teams to score is in play in this game, this Belgium and Senegal game. I don't think either defense is really up to snuff to stop them for a full 90, and especially the fact that you can get that both teams to score for the entire game, including the extra time at only around minus 150. It's a little bit juicy, but I could see both these teams getting on the scoreboard. But for me, guys, give me Senegal on the double chance. I think after 90, you could be seeing a 1-1 tie in this one. So we'll cash our bet with that, or Senegal wins within the 90. You can tell, man, Joe, I'm not very pro Belgium here. I think they're a little bit of a wolf in sheep's clothing. I think they're a paper tiger, whatever, saying you want to use. That's how I look at this Belgium side. So it's only Senegalese for me.
Senegalese. That game starts at 4 o'clock Eastern today, taking on Belgium, minus 182, give or take here for Belgium is the favorite side. But tonight is the main event. We've been waiting for this for decades. The U.S. playing a knockout stage game on U.S. soil. Mexico did it in their home country. Canada actually did it in the United States. And now it's up to the U.S. to say, you know what? Home teams, host nations advancing. Monster favorite for the U.S. at about a minus 600 price, depending where you're shopping, Dan. Let's get the party started tonight. USA, Bosnia, from out there on the West Coast.
Yeah, the price is really where it starts getting prohibitive, right, guys? I feel like we talked about this last time that I was on with you, Donnie, but you guys know this. I like calling it the Yankee tax. You know what I mean? Like, you never get a true price trying to back the New York Yankees, and you never get a true price trying to back the United States men's national team in these type of world tournaments, simply because everyone wants to bet them, right? So minus 600, they should be that, right? Because you look at this Bosnia team, if it weren't for FIFA making sure that Mexico moves on, Canada moves on, and USA moves on. This format of this tournament, guys, was made for the host nations to sell tickets, to sell jerseys, to get asses in seats. Yeah. And Bosnia wouldn't even be playing in this game if they didn't, number one, expand the tournament, and number two, make it so that everybody and their grandmother, if they score a goal, essentially can be moving on to the knockout round, in the knockout round of 32. So USA is clearly the class side in this one. I'll also say this is the best United States men's national team that I can remember. This is a team from top to bottom that is stout. Their defense is where they leave a little bit to be desired, but they have enough scoring power to outfire you. I think the more that this goaltender is getting his feet underneath him, the better they're going to feel about that. So the part that worries me for United States men's national team, and why I think this is probably a game, guys, that I would prefer to bet live, is U.S., they rested all of their guys, right? This was a team who decided, hey, we're playing. We already are signed, sealed, delivered. Pulisic does come on to stretch out that hamstring. That was good. But their starters are going to be a little bit rusty coming out of this match. So the way that I'm going to attack this one is actually take the second half of the game to be the higher scoring of the two halves. This is available on Green Book, Blue Book. Essentially, it's a market you can find anywhere. But I just simply think when you think about how this game will go for Bosnia, the game script is don't let what happened in the Mexico game happen. Don't let them jump all over you. Keep this game cagey to the second half and then see what happens. Maybe that's where we open up a little bit more. And you look at this Bosnian side, they've actually been decent. I mean, that Switzerland 4-1 result, I feel like it's a bit of a false result because they were basically neck and neck with this team. And then it gets late in the game, they look up and they're trailing by 3 goals. So 5 of the goals given up in this tournament by Bosnia have come after the 74th minute. They're a team that they'll hang with you. They're really good until they're not. And I think that can happen here again. I also wouldn't be shocked if the USA does concede a goal in this one. That clean sheet against Australia was their first clean sheet in, I believe, 7 matches. So this United States men's national team can give up goals. I just don't know if Bosnia has the attack to really threaten them. So let's take this game to be cagey early on, second half to be the higher scoring one, and then I don't pick any winner. So no one can accuse me of being the jinx here, Don.
Could be trending to the over. Donnie and I talked about it, especially to your point about the clean sheet. Prop bets. When you look at the U.S. side, I mean, pretty good value, Dan, across the board. Reyna's plus 170, Berhalter plus 340, Pepe. Anybody stand out to you? Raya, give me somebody.
Yeah, the way that I would attack this, and I'm right there with you. I think you can also look at the Team USA team total to go over. I think over in this match is live as well. 2.5. You can throw that in a parlay with both teams to score. You can pair it together. What I like attacking, though, is getting a score or assist, simply because that's a great parlay piece, and some of these prices aren't too awful when you're looking at that. So if you're looking for a scorer, everyone's going to talk to you about Christian Pulisic. He actually hasn't been that terrific in this tournament simply because that hammy, and they haven't really needed him. I would throw in a nice parlay piece as that Ricardo Pepi to either score or get an assist. If you obviously want the plus money, you can grab that plus 115 for the anytime goal scorer. But I think both teams to score, pairing that with Pepi to be one of the guys who records an assist or a score, you're looking at a plus 162. You can add some other stuff to that, add the over if you want. But Pepi is a guy for me who I think is going to be on the pitch a solid amount. I think he contributes. I think if Pulisic is going to push the pace a little bit more, a guy who can assist that for him and also be in a scoring position to maybe get a chip in, maybe get a head in, maybe get something off of a cross or be the man attempting it himself. Pepi is a good guy to throw in there to either get assist or a goal, or if you want the plus money on either of them, pick those specifically. I just like bunching them together personally. I don't think minus 165 is a prohibitive price for me.
Just looking at a certain outlet right now, looks like plus 100 Pulisic, plus 100 for Balogun here. For me, I always trust the guy that's probably healthier at this point with Balogun at a plus 100, but we're certainly going to find that out tonight. Dan, before we let loose here, France looks like they're an absolute wagon, and every single day I take a look, they are getting smaller and smaller as a favorite into this tournament. Yesterday, plus 250s, plus 275s. I'm looking now around a plus 180 price here, well ahead of Argentina and Spain. For looking at the World Cup, and we sort of put it back together, is France just that wagon far out ahead, or maybe one team you're looking at that probably can catch them?
I mean, for me, they're in the driver's seat, man. Yeah. Like this is their tournament to lose, and I think this was their tournament to lose heading into it, because not only do they have the class in the defensive or the offensive side of the ledger. I mean, obviously in this competition, they've scored three or more goals in every single one of them. Going back, I think it's 5 straight matches that they've scored 3 or more goals. Before that, you had another one against Colombia. So Colombia is one of those dark horses that I've liked. But France has already shown we can break them down and we can hold them defensively. So they really are just an absolute wagon. I mean, you can't jump in now because of the pricing that you're seeing with it. You know, there's always going to be Argentina, but I wouldn't be shocked if Argentina runs a little bit out of legs as well. Portugal, a lot of folks like them, I just think that they're way too up and down, right? I want a team with a steady hand. So Spain is going to be in the conversation. You know that, Donnie. That's not where my money's going to be. If I'm looking for a dark horse that still makes sense to bet right now, Brazil. I still think Brazil, while they've been talked about, the team who, they're the worst Brazil team in 20 years. They're flashy. They're this, they're that. That win and the fashion in which it came against the Japanese side, who I thought was a live dog in that game, that gave me some excitement. I'm sitting with the Brazil ticket pre-flop at 1,600. I still think plus 950 is some great value there on a Brazilian side who they can outscore a team like France because they have the firepower to do so, even with the injuries that they have. So that's what I really want to look for, is a team that can outscore and a team who's kind of been there before. And it hasn't been that way for Brazil in recent history, but I think they have enough firepower. As long as the defense can figure something out on the back end, they can hang with these top teams. So I think they're the one that is mispriced. I think they should be priced more like a Spain at 7-1, or maybe an Argentina around 5-1. I think the fact we're still getting nearly 10-1 on Brazil, that's a team I would still be willing to hop in.
Fantastic stuff all the way around. Dan Alexander here, bringing the heat today, talking some Team USA tonight. 3 games on the card at England, trying to hold on, down 1-0 at this point right now in about the 60th minute. Dan, thank you so much for your time here on a Wednesday, man. Love to catch up. One of my favorite guys in the business, no doubt about it, man.
Enjoy it, Donnie. If you're going down the shore this weekend, brother, that's where everyone's going to be. That's where everyone's going to be. The heat
is on, Danny boy. Thanks again for joining us today. We really appreciate it. We'll catch up with Dan shortly again. There you go, Joe. Team USA tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, USA, Bosnia.
He said to Pepe, Donnie. He said to Pepe. You noticed that I had Ricardo Pepe potentially for
Pepe's
shots
pizza.
on goal. Ricardo Pepe shots on goal. I'm just telling you. So there you go.
Yeah, we'll watch the tree lines as it comes down the list as we go over a couple topics. Let's get to the trending topics, Joe. Some topics that we love to talk about and have some fun with here. Bobby Bonilla Day. And if anybody pays attention, it's a scheduled tweet every year that absolutely pisses me off because it's a boring, stupid-ass story. Look at Bonilla still getting paid. I don't care anymore. Nobody cares. Why is this a deal? But I think every year it gets smaller and smaller that we actually care about this. $1 million to Bonilla. Who cares?
Well, I care. He's getting paid for doing nothing. I mean, that
you guys, is he giving you money on the side? Is he buying crypto for you with that milli? What's he doing?
But he's sitting around. He's getting fat. I mean, it's been first of all, Bobby Bonilla's best days were when he was with Barry Bonds when he was there.
Stole that money from the Mets. They said.
Oh man, he got fat with the Mets, and then when that was it. That was it, Donnie. Let's be honest. I mean, it does bother me. I mean, how long is this guy going to be
Madoff doing these days, man? That's Madoff money he's got running around with now.
Well, now you said the story was that if he took the lump sum like the lottery, if he, as opposed to he got paid, he's getting paid like an annuity, right?
Correct.
Every
he's an
year,
annuity now. Yes.
Right. So
J.G. Wentworth
that's
style.
Right. So I mean, good for him. He doesn't spend all 50, 60 million that he was going to get. He gets it out over the course of a lifetime, and this is his retirement fund.
Yeah, I don't know. I forget what the exact payout was, but to have security of money every year is great because Bobby Bonilla made a lot of money doing his contract. Say, that's like a retirement plan, a pension. I'm going to get and live with it. I'm okay with it. But people say, the Mets are idiots. No, they weren't. The Mets were playing the market at that time going, if I pay him, if he doesn't want to take his $8 million or whatever the payout is, we're going to invest that. And then by the time it catches up at the end of it, we'll actually make more money on the back end than Bobby Bonilla is actually going to get. The only problem, it was Madoff guaranteeing like 30% returns every single year, Joe, which went up in flames. So the Mets are still paying, but never got anything back out of the Bonilla money they invested.
Yeah, what's interesting is if Steve Cohen was the owner of the Mets back then, would he have accepted that deal with Madoff, right?
Exactly. Put it in my hedge fund. We'll rock it to the moon.
Hedge fund Steve, right? So again, smart decisions, bad decisions. Yeah. The Mets had the right idea. They're just an organization that couldn't capitalize like many of the others. I will say, what's bothering me right now? I have my eye on this Indian Guardian versus Texas game.
Yes.
I had runners on first and second with one out in the top of the first. I go, here we go, alt. Nothing. Now we got a runner on second.
There you go.
With one out. So I need this game to open up.
With Reese Hoskins at the plan, who I told you has like infinitesimal numbers against lefties with power right now. But hey, Joe, maybe we'll be contrarian and we'll root that one in together. And some people out here rooting for the three lines down 1-0 now in the 65th minute here. Mexico, Joe. You don't have to be in Estadio Azteca. You don't have to be in Guadalajara. Right. You don't have to be down there on the Baja Strip or whatever you want to say, or Tijuana. Right. You could have been watching a little baseball here between the Dodgers and the Athletics. Did you see the video of the Mexican guy behind home plate letting the people know that there was a goal, Joe?
Yeah, see that's what it's all about. He was all excited, right? Yep. So, how many times? Look at him, yeah. Go,
cerveza. Is that what he yelling right now? Wants a beer?
Oh, he was going goal. He was
about
going
as much
goal.
as I know Spanish, by the way.
Well, I know Spanish. Yo soy guapo. That's what I know.
Joey Guapo?
Joey Guapo. Joey. Yeah. Joey
is muy Joey y feo. I think I get that one right.
Oh, you do know Spanish.
Guapo y feo?
No feo. No. Muy guapo. Muy guapo. Joey Gorgeous.
Joey Guapo. Yeah, look at that. I love it, man. Celebrate and let the people around there know. Now, hold on now, Joe. Do I have a viral moment tonight, the Phillies game, if Balogun scores? Do I have to stand up and scream?
You should run across the stadium. So what? You catch go. I dare you. Go run across the stadium and.
I'm already upset. I'm already upset. No, I can't. By the way, when I have my shops, I can tell this funny story. I was probably 32 years old, Joe. It was cold outside. Now, we had a old system that dealt with oil. So sometimes you had to hit the starter to get it going.
Yeah.
Well, I hit the starter too many times. It sort of sparked like a little smoke in the store. So somebody goes, hey, man, there's a lot of smoke coming out like your stack at the store. So I ran outside, Joe, sprinted and looked up. I pulled my hamstring, man. Jesus Christ, man. I couldn't believe, Like, it was one of those, like, you got, like, I started, 32 is not really old, but God damn, that's the last time I did it.
That's it.
Man.
You were getting fat. And just so you know, what
damn.
was it when you had the sandwich shop? No mustard on the turkey?
No mayonnaise. We didn't.
No
mayonnaise.
Okay.
You want to get turkey and cheese and mayonnaise, I'm fine.
Right.
Roast beef and mayonnaise, I'm fine.
What about
ham and cheese with mayonnaise? Chicken cutlet with mayo, I don't care about that. But the people that would come in and be like, let me get Italian and lettuce, tomato, onion, extra mayo. Like, nah, we don't do that. You know what I mean? What do you mean? Y'all got Miracle Whip in there? No, we don't have Miracle Whip in here. You know what I mean?
You know, I tell you what, too bad when you had the sandwich shop, you didn't have TikTok and all this other stuff of social media. You might have killed it. You're a social media warrior now.
I'm telling you, I am going to be a warrior on social media once again today, Joe. By the way, soccer means more in Mexico as well. Now, I had a link for this, so I need the people in the back. Do we have a link or a video up for soccer means more in Mexico? Because I know I had something good to talk about here, Joe. But I just don't know. It just means more now because my link was taken away. So there you go. I like that topic.
They took his link as the show is coming to it.
The SEC out here, Joe.
That's it.
You know what I mean?
Let me tell you,
more
first,
the SEC.
when you snap a losing streak, what was it? The advance to the round since 1986, Donnie.
Yeah, 40 years.
40 years. I mean, that's unbelievable. That's like Kentucky knocking off Florida in the swamp for the first time in 33 meetings. Remember when they did it against Anthony Richardson? It's the same thing. That's what it's all about. You got to snap the streak.
Now, Joe,
trust me. Yeah.
You talk about snapping streaks where it's like, all right, Taylor Swift's going to get married. Oh, there we go. Dog. Yeah, see? My link came up now. Dog missing for a month. Because he was partying in the streets during the World Cup. Look at the dog. The dog left home to go party. I don't know what city. Let's call it Guadalajara. I love to say Guadalajara, so I always use that as the Mexican city. But look at that. The dog was partying, Joe, with the people.
That's great. If that's a true story,
New York Post, reputable.
No, very reputable. It's not, a garbage organization. So you would believe that potentially the story's true. How many dogs look like that, though, is my question in Mexico.
They run in the streets? I don't know, but that's,
I'm just saying.
Even the dogs are getting involved in Mexico. They might have to shut down the country. They win another game in the knockout stage in the Sweet 16, Joe. You might have to shut down the country for good.
We should just bet them to win it all.
I might turn into a Mexican guy. Yep, I'll get a Chicharito jersey, Joe. We chimichangas and have Chicharito jerseys. That's how we'll celebrate. Oh, by the way, banging Mexican food I had over the weekend, too. Birria tacos, give me them all day long. I might turn into
I like the taco meat. I'll eat the taco meat, no problem.
Yeah.
I love taco meat. How about this, Joe?
You ready for this story? MSG, 1,000+ guests, going to shut it down. Wedding this weekend. Look at this, Joe. They're going to build like it's a... Disney World in there? They're going to put the princess's castle in there?
We need this for Travis Kelce. I'm so tired of the Kelces. I know Jason Kelce,
Rapunzel?
Philly guy. I am so tired of them. They're forcing the Kelces down our throat. Like, really? Why don't they get married in Arrowhead Stadium? Why don't they get married in the Coliseum in L.A.? Why don't they? How
about the Coliseum in Rome, Joe?
Well, isn't she from Tennessee originally?
She's from the Philly area too. Yes, she claims a lot of areas, Joe, that aren't hers anymore.
Well,
and now
so
NYC.
Can't she get married in Nashville? I mean, I don't understand what we're doing.
How about Rhode
here.
Island? She lives in Rhode Island. How about a nice beach wedding in Rhode Island, Joe?
Why do we have to close down the streets of Manhattan in the dead of summer?
1,000 people, Joe. 1,000. Now, by the way, does everybody have to come with an envelope though in there again?
You said that with
What's the envelope? Yeah.
I mean, really.
If you're spending $20 million, you better be getting some cash back in the envelope.
Donnie, you and I both know this. Working in the media industry, a lot of these supposed stars, right? Even in the media industry, they all have alligator rumps. You know that as well as anybody. They want everything for free. They do. They want everything for free.
They don't want to stay at the Excalibur. They want better hotels. You know what I
mean? We're winning together, baby. No, but there's no doubt. I wouldn't shock me if, like, for that wedding, Mahomes gives like $500.
That's it?
Why?
That's all?
Because
he's not getting a Bugatti?
Like, come on. You think... No, these stars would never do that. No. Like, you think the Swifties? I guarantee you the Swifties send better presents to Taylor Swift and Kelce than the inner circle.
Yep. How about that? By the way, chat box here. Comment by Jack Folk. Joe Lisi is the cheer captain and DRS is on the bleachers. You know what that's from, Joe? I'm cheer captain and I'm on the bleachers.
That's a Pitch Perfect, is it? The movie?
Looking for it's been here the whole time. If you can see that I'm the one that See that? Look, don't get me singing on stuff. I know way more about music than a lot of people would think I do know.
I know music too, but I don't know what is that
That's a Taylor Swift song. Yeah.
I like Karma. Yeah. That's the only one I like.
No, it's good stuff here. By the way, Joe, now's the time that we got to get you involved because I'm a fashionista in this business.
Okay.
I rip uniforms. When I see a good uniform, I praise it. I love swag. I always figure, Joe, look good, play good. Same attitude where you get off the bus and your uniform is crisp, you know you're going to have a good day. And also, the opposing team looks over and goes, these guys look like shit. So that means they won't play well. You get off the bus looking crisp and clean, you know you got a fight on your hands. Give me a little Georgia Tech action right now.
Yeah, I don't like it. I don't like it.
What?
I think it sucks.
The bottom two look clean, Joe.
Yeah,
no?
I don't mind the pant. What bothers me is Georgia Tech. Go back to the days of Marco Coleman, Jimmy Lincoln, obviously my guy.
What about Reggie Ball? How about the Reggie Ball days?
Reggie Ball,
quarterback.
Reggie Ball
like
with
5'3".
Calvin Johnson. Yeah, he was number one.
Oh, they beat
Reggie
Miami.
Ball.
You got to be kidding me when they won in the Orange Bowl. Go ahead, though.
Yeah, but Kerry Godsey and all those teams. I mean, the point is, the point is they have blue in their uniforms. Where's the blue? Those are black pants
they're
wearing?
Joe. I like the bottom two pants.
Which bottom? You like the gold
I like the
bottoms?
left. I like the yellow. I like the yellow. No, I like the white pants and the yellow.
I'll give you this. The only one that I like is the one all the way in the top left. I'm looking at it. All gold pant, gold jersey.
By the way, Joe, we got to get Terry Bowden on the show because I want to talk to him about what happened on that blocked field goal attempt that went for a touchdown with his dad's squad. Would you remember that one?
You just love ripping Terry Bowden. You just love ripping Terry about the FSU games. It's just never going to stop.
By the way, he's got to come on. He's got to come on the show.
He's coaching Arena League. Yeah. Once the season's over in July, I'll get him on.
We're going to get Terry
to come on.
One final look, Joe. LaMelo Ball shipping his rides to Minnesota. I mean, you know he can't drive them there. He's got orange cars, gold cars, minted cars, Bugattis.
That's a beautiful
was that a
car.
Range or whatever that's, the color. By the way, if you're a pro athlete, he's like, you know what, let me get a nice black rod I can drive around. It's really nice, but it won't stick out. Why would you drive that car around, Joe?
No,
because you know that, hey, that must be somebody. And I guess that's what he wants.
Well, that's what they want. But again, if I was worth 200, 300 million, I go old school Burt Reynolds. Give me the Trans Am. What do you think?
Wow. How about an IROC? You got to go out and take a look at some IROCs this
Trans
Am.
No, I would have the Bugatti and the Bentley and all the nice cars. But who was the other player that came in? Was it Donovan Mitchell that came in with the old school Cadillac? And he had it all decked out. It was beautiful. It had they don't say this
muscle car. You come in a Chevelle, Joe. What would you be doing?
They had the subwoofers, Donnie. The subwoofers. Let me just say this quick story about Ball. Yeah. Did you see the father got divorced by the mother?
For who? Oh, for the Balls. Yes, dude, the guy lost his leg and she bounced.
You know why? Because it was the big baller sneakers didn't make out. I don't.
Horrible sneakers, by the way. The worst sneakers I've ever seen in my life. Which our guy Jeff Nady really likes.
With cinder blocks on.
Yeah, exactly. And again, by the way, you might as well put Lonzo in cinder blocks the way he killed his career with those shoes over there at that point right now. But that's the way it goes. Joe, 75th minute, 1-0 Congo.
I'm telling you, Congo, baby,
done. That would be incredible stuff. But you know what else is done? It's a Wednesday on Crossing Lines. It was a lot of fun. An hour and a half plus just went by in the snap of a finger here. Thank you for watching. And again, if you're watching live and you haven't done it yet, I don't know what you're waiting for. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and comment here. All across our social media platforms here. Reach out to Joe on social media. Reach out to me. Reach out and yell at the big man on campus who's in Las Vegas right now. Huge things on the horizon. We love to thank you for the support already. I'm going to be a madman today all over social media, getting the clips that the people need out here, and I'll be hanging out down in South Philadelphia tonight. But hanging out with us tomorrow, it's going to be Joe Lisi once again. It's going to be your boy DRS. It's a big-time Thursday. Join us then. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon.